But we have to back the hearse up against the front porch, okay? The best way to think about selling life insurance, in this case, final expense or any kind of life insurance, is your prospect. You have to imagine your prospect sitting around and they're looking out the front window and there's a hearse backed up against the front porch. Death is there. The Grim Reaper's opening the door, beckoning them to come in and jump into the casket and be buried, right? They have to think that death is real. It's not a like esoteric concept that bad things happen to other people. Your job is to bridge the gap of what they know to be true, but they choose to avoid, which is their ultimate demise and the consequences that come from it if they are not prepared. Okay, that's backing the hearse up. We like to use that terminology because even people who are in final expense that are 70, 75, there are a lot of tire kickers that just kick the can down the road. If it can be done tomorrow, do it tomorrow. So you've got to prepare a person to see the reality of their situation, okay? And as we'll go into it, it's not something that's high pressure or anything. It's just helping navigate them through the realities of the things they don't want to think about and letting them come to their own conclusions. So a couple of questions here. To me, that deep dive into the need and the want, okay? Because this is the big thing that gets messed up and half done. I would say, what were your thoughts, concerns that prompted you to send back this card, okay? Or send back this information on Facebook, right? So why is that important? Well, thoughts and concerns, logic and emotion. What caused you to do this? Okay, this is a critical question that everything else basically rests upon. Every single top producing final expense agent at my agency, really probably nationwide for decades, all agree that this question in some form or fashion is the most critical question to nail every single call. If you're not asking what were your thoughts, concerns that prompted you to send this back, or why am I here, or why did you do this, whatever your variation is, you're missing the boat. So please ask that question. Now, some other questions I like to ask is, what are you doing right now for your life insurance, after we have a conversation based on that? Many times I'll hear no in the final expense space, and my reply to that is, wow, God forbid if you died tomorrow, what happens? And you'll notice in this, it's not just what I say, it's how I say it. Very important for you guys out there who are on the phone, you've got to drop your voice. You almost got to lean in and whisper what's going to happen. Like a friend next to a friend would, consoling them and helping them think through this major thing. Because the impact of how you demonstrate or perform the script, right, is going to have an amazing impact on the client, much more so than if you just read it like monotonously, correct? So what this does, and you probably might even feel like you're squirming a bit listening to this, and that's good, because we want the prospect to be uncomfortable. Ben Feldman, Guinness World Book record holder of production and app counts in the 60s and 70s, just world-class agent, literally world-class, called these questions disturbing questions. He would ask disturbing questions of everybody he talked to, because that's what it takes to convince somebody to buy a life insurance plan that you got to die to get, right? It's the most intangible product out there. So you have to really put the salt in the wound. What, God forbid, if you die tomorrow, what's going to happen? And then I might follow up, well, do you have savings and final expense? Many times they don't. Well, what about your kids? Why wouldn't they pay for it? Well, they're broke too, right? So what we're doing is walking them through the pain of not being prepared. And we have to have the emotionality of pain to push, in many cases in our field, final expense prospects, we refer to them as world-class procrastinators, to get them to buy one of these things, okay? So you have to go to this depth in order to build the need, okay? Again, if you're not doing this, you're losing prospects.